Vanakkam. Welcome back to our course on SAP Materials Management. From the last session, we are discussing some specific purchasing procedures starting with scheduling agreement. In this session, we will discuss the interplant purchase. Before going to the session, let us review the answers for the quizzes we discussed in the last session. What is the difference between contract and scheduling agreement? Contract is an outline purchase agreement against which release the orders can be issued for the materials or services when the customers require them. That is, a contract will be arrived between the customer and supplier. Based on the need, orders will be released. In case of scheduling agreement, it is again outline purchase agreement, but here purchasing department has arrived to procure the materials based on a schedule agreed between the purchasing department and the supplier, which means the schedule will be released. So for the material which are repeatedly used or regularly used, schedule agreement will be commonly used. What are the details to be maintained in source list for delivery schedule creation through MRP? In source list, we have to maintain schedule agreement and line item. In MRP column, maintain two MRP relevant to schedule line and ensure the validity dates align with the scheduling agreement dates. These things we discussed in the session. Please go through them with the screenshot. Okay, it will be very helpful for you to understand what is the basic requirement to set this schedule line creation through MRP. Normally, organizations procure materials from suppliers outside their organization limit. At the same time, there will be business environment where one organization may have multiple plants. In one plant, they produce a product which is an input material for other plant. In this case, they don't buy from outside, but they buy between their plants. For example, components produced in one plant may be required for the assembly in another plant, which requires a stock transfer of components. This is called interplant purchase procedure. In this session, we will discuss how to set the system for the interplant purchase and how to execute it. There are two types of interplant transfer. The first one is the transfer between two plants within one company. So there is one company code. Under one company code, there are two plants. These two plants are having material supply between them. The second scenario is there are two company codes under which there are two plants. The transaction is happening between these two plants, right? So these are the two scenarios. In this session, we will discuss the interplant transfer between two plants in one company. Here we see various steps involved in stock transfer between two plants in the same company. Step 1 is the demand is generated in the receiving plant. The demand may be requirement for a plant independent requirement, or it may be a requirement for sales order or requirement for production order like this. And then step 2 is MRP is run in the receiving plant and supplying plant. Step 3 is after MRP run, system creates stock transfer purchase requisition in receiving plant. Step 4, stock transfer purchase requisition is converted into stock transfer purchase order. Step 5, based on requirement in stock transfer order, goods will be issued from the supplying plant. Step 6, goods will be shown in the stock in transit. Step 7, goods are received in the receiving plant. This is the cycle. So we will see all these steps one by one in this session. The first settings to trigger interplant purchase is special procurement type. The special procurement type key is for stock transfer. Special procurement type key for stock transfer is 40 and it is characterized as interplant transfer. The special procurement key type requires a supplying plant has to be defined in the special procurement type key and the plant. Additionally, special procurement U is assigned to the special procurement type. This is the configuration. Okay. In many business scenarios, many plants may supply materials to many receiving plants. But just now we discussed the configuration of a special procurement key is having one supplying plant and one receiving plant. To facilitate the procurement among various plants, it is suggested to copy the standard configuration of special procurement type 40 and change it as per the requirement and create the special procurement types like I1, I2, I3, etc. After defining the special procurement type in configuration, it has to be assigned to the material in MRP2 view. Though it is interplant purchase, there is a lead time involved to move the metal from one plant to another plant. So please take care to update this plant delivery lead time and also the goods receipt processing time accordingly. And apart from this, as per best practice, when materials are moved from one plant to another plant within organization, it is suggested not to inspect the materials in the receiving plants. Instead, receive them as green pass materials so that we can reduce a good amount of goods receipt processing time. For our discussion purpose, we created demand through plant independent requirement in the receiving plant A222. They are displayed here through stock requirement list. We can see the independent requirement VSF 10, 12, 10 like this. Next, run MRP in the receiving plant, that A222 through MD01N, that is a MRP live MRP. Please check the box stock transfer materials, what is shown here now. The stock transfer materials under able to be included in planning, so that MRP of these materials will run in the supplying plant. Here, though we selected A22 plant for MRP, MRP is run for materials involved in A111 also. This is why we are making the tick mark, so that the requirements will be passed to the supplying plant. Accordingly, those materials also planned there. After MRP run, we see the stock transport purchase requisitions through stock requirement list here. See, for every requirement, stock transfer purchase requisition is created. In the stock transport purchase requisition, under the tab source of supply, the supplying plant A111 is reflected. Conversion of stock transport purchase requisition to stock transport purchase order will be done in the same procedure we followed to convert regular purchase requisition to purchase order. Only difference is, since it is stock transfer between the plants, there is no need of creating purchasing info record. We follow regular procedure and converted stock transport purchase requisition to stock transport purchase order. Here the order is created with the number what is configured. Now we are in the stock requirement list of the supplying plant. Please check the columns MRP elements. The stock transport orders will be reflect with the same purchase order number in the receiving plant with the MRP element ORDDS is noted. And also the stock transport purchase requisitions will reflect with the same purchase requisition number in receiving plant with the MRP element of PRQREL. These are the MRP elements. Now reading the MRP elements, understanding them also is very important, because we need to understand why that supply or receipt is there in the stock requirement list. That we need to understand. For example, now we are seeing here the plant order means they are here, they have to be converted into production order. If their purchase request release means they have to be given to the stock transfer purchase requisition. Like this, we need to understand why the issue is there, why the supply will be there. All right, those things we have to understand, for which understanding of MRP elements is very important. Now let us check the stock details in the receiving plant and supplying plants through MMBE. In supplying plant A11, the stock is 10 pieces. In receiving plant A222, stock is nil. Now the material required to be supplied is produced in the supplying plant. Now we have to issue it. The issue will be done through the transaction called MIGO. MIGO is used to issue the materials from the supplying plant. Since we issued the metal for stock transport order, enter A07 goods issue and R01 purchase order, and what is the STO number that we need to capture it. So once the moment we enter this A07 goods issue and purchase order, also we can see here the transfer to stock in transit, no, that movement type 351 is appearing, which means that stock will be moved from the available inventory to the this one, what stock in transit. When the system bring the details, see them and post it. So the document will be posted. After posting the goods issue from the supplying plant, we don't see the stock either in supplying plant or in receiving plant since the stock is in transit. So it is necessary to see how much stock is in transit, because almost in the practical situation, no, lot of stock will be in transit. Stock in transit is viewed by transaction MB5T or through the menu path shown here. The MB by 5T transaction, we have multiple options. Now we can see either materials or based on receiving plant or based on supplying plant or based on the receiving plant company code, the special stock. Like this we can select it and see that. Now let us enter the material, receiving plant, supplying plant, execute the transaction. Now we are seeing the details of the material. 10 pieces are in transit from the plant to the receiving plant. Both we are seeing here, right? All the details are available here. Next step is we have to receive the metal in the receiving plant. So to receive the metal, transaction is MIGO. So here enter A01 goods receipt and then R01 purchase order. Enter the same stock transport purchase order here, STO. Please note the movement type 101. Now after entering the STO number, the details will be fetched by the system. Check them and post them. Document will be posted. Now we can see the stock is received in the receiving plant. The 10 numbers is reflecting in the receiving plant. Through MB51 material document list, we can see the issue movement 351 and the receiving movement 101. Those things are appearing here. So we are seeing the details which happened as per the requirement. So in this session, we discuss the business scenario of the stock transfer or stock transfer between the plants, and also the configuration settings required for the stock transfer, how to set the metal master, and how to execute the processes like orders, the purchase request is generated, how the purchase order is converted, and also how to perform the goods issue and goods receipt. Now let us see the quiz for this session. What is interplant purchase? How many supply plant and receiving plants can be defined in special procurement type configuration? If more than one plant is involved in supplying or receiving plant, how to configure the special procurement type? Where do you capture special procurement type in Metal Master? While running MRP, to consider the stock transport requirements, what must be selected? Do we need to create purchasing info record for interplant purchase? What is the movement type to move the metal from stock to transit, stock to stock in transit in the interplant purchase? In the next session, we will discuss subcontracting purchase. Meanwhile, practice the interplant purchase process. Give your feedback to improve the flow and contents. Also recommend your friends and colleagues to subscribe to our channel so they also get the benefit of this knowledge sharing session. Thank you. See you in the next session. Take care. Bye.